Every single day, millions of people look in the mirror and see the same thing. Dark patches spreading across the face, brown spots creeping up the hands and along the neck. They showed up quietly. One at first, then two, then so many you stopped counting. You've tried creams, you've tried home remedies, and when you finally went to a doctor, you got a shrug and two words. It's aging. I'm here to tell you that answer is wrong. Age spots, the medical term is hyperpigmentation, are not a verdict, and they are not an inevitable consequence of getting older. They are a signal that specific internal processes in your body are out of balance. And those processes can be corrected without expensive procedures, without $100 creams, without surgery, with straightforward tools that already exist in your kitchen. I'm Dr. James Carter, over 20 years of clinical practice. Let's start with exactly what happens inside your skin when a dark spot forms. In the deep layers of your skin live specialized cells called melanocytes. Their only job, is to manufacture a substance called melanin. Melanin is the dark pigment that gives your skin its color. When you are young and your body is running in coordination, melanocytes distribute that pigment evenly across the surface. Skin looks uniform, clear, and consistent. Here is what changes. Under the influence of specific internal and external factors, and we are going to walk through every one of them today, those cells begin working erratically. Some slow down, some go into overdrive, dumping massive amounts of pigment into a single concentrated point. The result is a dark patch against lighter surrounding skin. The critical thing to understand is this: age itself does not break melanocytes. What breaks them are specific, identifiable physiological processes. And that is actually good news because specific processes can be changed. The first factor I want to address will surprise most people. It is not the sun. The majority of people are convinced that age spots are purely a sun problem. That is only partially true. The sun is a match. But for a match to start a fire, you need fuel. The fuel is what is happening inside your body. If your internal systems are functioning properly, sunlight is not your enemy. If there is internal dysfunction, spots can intensify in the middle of winter, on overcast days without any meaningful sun exposure at all. This is why people coat themselves in expensive sunscreen, stay in the shade, and their spots keep darkening anyway. They are looking for the answer in the wrong place. Factor 1, the liver. I know what you're thinking right now. What does the liver have to do with skin pigmentation? I'm going to explain that, and I think you'll find it genuinely surprising. Your liver is performing more than 500 functions simultaneously at this very moment. 500 is not hyperbole, that is the documented physiological reality. It filters blood, breaks down fats, neutralizes toxins, produces bile, stores vitamins. It is one of the hardest working organs in your entire body. And one of its functions, one you are almost certainly not going to hear about at a dermatology appointment, is a direct influence on the condition of your skin. Every single day, substances enter your body that need to be processed and rendered harmless. Through food, through air, through water, the liver intercepts them, neutralizes them, and routes them out of the body. That is its job, to be the primary filter. But when the liver becomes overloaded, when it cannot keep up with the incoming volume, the workload gets redistributed to other elimination systems. One of those systems is your skin. This is not a figure of speech, this is physiology. Your skin is not just a wrapper around your body, it is a fully functioning excretory organ. When your liver and kidneys are working above capacity, your skin absorbs part of that load. And when substances that have not been fully neutralized begin passing through skin tissue, they irritate the cells from the inside, including the melanocytes. Irritated melanocytes start working chaotically. They dump pigment unevenly, concentrating it in the areas where skin is thinnest: the face, the hands, the neck, the chest. This is why you can apply the most expensive creams on the market and the spots will not budge. You are repainting the walls of an apartment where a pipe is burst. It is pointless until you fix the pipe. Here is an important number. As we age, blood flow through the liver declines. Research shows that by age 75, hepatic blood flow can decrease by approximately 30%, and the liver itself can shrink in volume by 20 to 40%. The organ is slower. However, the good news, the liver has a remarkable capacity for recovery. Remove the things that are damaging it, support it with the right inputs, and it can significantly improve its own function. And right here, I need to stop and be transparent with you, because the connection between your internal organs and your skin is exactly what the healthcare system never explains. Your dermatologist will prescribe a $200 cream that only repaints the wall. Meanwhile, the pipe is still burst. The liver is still overloaded. The gut is still inflamed. The melanocytes are still receiving chaotic signals. This internal dysfunction doesn't just cause age spots. It drives the same chronic inflammation that damages your cardiovascular system, weakens your immune response, and accelerates every aspect of aging. The chronic low-grade inflammation that pushes melanocytes into erratic pigment production is the same inflammation that damages blood vessels, weakens the heart, and drives aging throughout every organ. This is exactly why CardioShield is critically relevant to skin health. This natural formula with hawthorn leaf, olive leaf extract, green tea, and garlic fights chronic inflammation at its source. Hawthorn leaf supporting the cardiovascular system that delivers blood to the liver for proper filtration, the same liver that needs to clear the toxins that are irritating your melanocytes. Olive leaf extract fighting the chronic inflammation that irritates melanocytes and damages blood vessels simultaneously, attacking the root cause from the vascular side. Green tea loaded with catechins, the same antioxidants I'll recommend later for UV protection, providing systemic defense against the free radicals that damage every cell in your body, including melanocytes. Garlic supporting healthy blood flow to the skin, ensuring oxygen and nutrients reach the melanocytes so they can function normally instead of chaotically. I can only help the first 5 people who act right now. More than 200 people have already experienced the difference. Doctor, the spots on my hands started fading after 8 weeks. My dermatologist asked what I was doing differently and couldn't explain the improvement. Doctor, I spent thousands on laser treatments that only worked temporarily. The spots always came back because nobody addressed the inside. With the right nutrition approach and CardioShield, the spots are fading and staying faded for the first time in years. They call it a miracle product. Link in the first pinned comment. 180-day guarantee. 0 risk. Disclaimer, not a substitute for medical care. How to support the liver. Simple, accessible tools. No expensive supplements, just food and habits. First, begin every morning with a glass of warm water and a slice of lemon. Not hot, not cold, warm. Approximately body temperature. This gently stimulates bile flow. Bile is a digestive fluid produced by the liver that thickens overnight. The warm water with lemon encourages it to move. A single lemon costs almost nothing and lasts 3 to 4 days. If you have elevated stomach acid or a stomach ulcer, substitute the lemon for half a teaspoon of honey. Same principle, gentler delivery. Second, bitter foods. They stimulate bile production, which helps the liver process fats. The most accessible source is dandelion, the same plant that grows in your yard. Leaves go into a salad. The root gets brewed as tea. 2 tablespoons of dried dandelion root per cup of boiling water. Steep for 20 minutes. Drink half a cup before a meal. Third, eliminate trans fats. Artificially modified fats found in cheap margarine, industrial baking fats, store-bought cookies, packaged convenience foods. Read ingredient labels. If you see partially hydrogenated oils, that is them. Trans fats impose a significant additional burden on the liver. Replace them with a small amount of real butter. 3 steps. Warm lemon water in the morning. Dandelion bitters before a meal. No trans fats. Within several weeks, you will have given your liver meaningful support. When the liver functions better, the skin carries less load. Factor 2, the gut. Researchers are actively studying what is called the gut-skin axis, the direct relationship between intestinal health and skin condition. Current evidence indicates that disruption of the gut microbiome can amplify inflammatory processes throughout the body, including the processes that dysregulate pigmentation. Your gut is not simply a tube that food moves through. It is an entire ecosystem. Trillions of bacteria live inside it. Those bacteria are governing processes you are not aware of, synthesizing vitamins, calibrating immune responses, regulating inflammation throughout the body. When beneficial bacteria are abundant, they maintain the gut wall as a tight, intact barrier. Nothing unauthorized crosses into the bloodstream. But when beneficial bacteria are depleted and harmful bacteria dominate, that barrier function breaks down. This is referred to as increased intestinal permeability. Through the weakened wall, fragments of bacteria and other substances enter the bloodstream and trigger an inflammatory response throughout the body. Quiet, invisible, no fever, no pain. But that chronic low-grade inflammation is exactly what pushes melanocytes into dysregulated activity. Remember the match and the fuel? There it is. The fuel is that hidden chronic inflammation. You can avoid the sun for an entire year, but if this process is running in the background, pigmentation will keep intensifying regardless of the season. Restore the microbiome. No expensive probiotic capsules needed. First, homemade sauerkraut, fermented cabbage. Not the store-bought kind in vinegar and preservatives, but traditionally fermented with nothing but cabbage and salt. One of the richest natural sources of live beneficial bacteria. 2 to 3 tablespoons a day. Within a month, your gut will register a difference. Second, plain kefir with a short shelf life, 7 days maximum. The shorter the shelf life, the more live bacteria. A glass before bed every night, specifically at night because the gut does its most active repair work during sleep, and the bacteria integrate into the microbiome while you rest. Bacteria need fuel of their own, fiber. Real oatmeal, the kind that takes 15 to 20 minutes on the stove. 3 tablespoons in the morning gives your gut bacteria their daily nutrition. And one overlooked factor, your gut cannot function normally without physical movement. Peristalsis slows when you spend the day sitting. Add abdominal massage. Lie on your back with knees bent. Place palms on abdomen and slowly circle clockwise. 36 rotations, moderate pressure. And here I cannot continue without interrupting. Because the gut inflammation I just described is the same chronic inflammation that CardioShield addresses from the cardiovascular side. When the gut leaks inflammatory compounds into the bloodstream, that blood flows through vessels that hawthorn leaf is supporting, past tissues that olive leaf extract is protecting from inflammatory damage, through a system that garlic is helping maintain at healthy flow rates. The dietary protocol fixes the source of inflammation in the gut. CardioShield supports the body's response to that inflammation throughout the cardiovascular system. This is why combining gut restoration with CardioShield produces results that neither approach achieves alone. You're stopping the fire and supporting the firefighters. More than 200 people experienced this combination. Doctor, my skin tone evened out in ways I didn't think were possible at 67. My cardiologist noticed improved inflammatory markers at the same visit where I was showing my dermatologist the fading spots. Miracle product. Only 5 first people. Link in first pinned comment. 180-day guarantee. 0 risk. Factor 3. The sun. When sunlight reaches your skin, it penetrates deep enough to contact the melanocytes and issues a signal. Threat detected. Defend yourself. Melanin is your skin's natural shield against ultraviolet radiation. This is why skin darkens with sun exposure. A normal, healthy, protective response. But here's what is not normal. When chronic inflammation already exists in your body because of an overburdened liver, a disrupted gut, or both, your melanocytes are already in a state of persistent irritation. They are already functioning erratically. And when UV light hits a cell that is already in that state, the response is disproportionate. Instead of a mild, even tan, a concentrated surge of pigment dumps into a single spot. That is your age spot. Not because the sun is your enemy, because your body was not prepared internally for that encounter. Internal UV protection through dietary antioxidants. First, carrots. They contain beta-carotene, a compound that accumulates in skin tissue and functions as an internal light filter. Meta-analyses confirm that regular consumption increases the skin's resistance to ultraviolet damage. Critical detail. Beta-carotene is fat-soluble, meaning it is only absorbed in the presence of dietary fat. Eat carrots with sour cream, butter, or cooked in oil. Without fat, beta-carotene passes straight through. Second, tomatoes, particularly cooked, stewed, or as tomato paste. When heated, tomatoes release lycopene, one of the most potent natural antioxidants known. Clinical research demonstrates that regular consumption increases the skin's resistance to UV damage. 2 tablespoons a day. Third, green tea. Loose leaf, not bagged. Brewed strong, let it cool, drink throughout the day, 3 to 4 cups. Contains high concentration of catechins that directly protect skin cells from free radical damage. Carrots with fat, tomato paste, and green tea every day. More protective than any SPF product on the shelf. Plus common sense. Shade during peak UV hours, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., light hat, long sleeves, but do not hide from the sun entirely. Your body needs sunlight for vitamin D. Factor 4, vitamin D. According to research data, insufficient or deficient vitamin D levels are found in the overwhelming majority of people over 60. Most have no idea because low vitamin D doesn't cause pain. It works quietly the way rust corrodes iron from the inside. You cannot see it until the structure begins to fail. Vitamin D is involved in regulating immune activity, in the renewal of skin cells, and in protection against inflammation. Research indicates it influences melanocyte function. Sources: 15 minutes of sunlight between April and September with forearms and face exposed. Herring, 100 grams contains approximately 1.5 times the daily recommended intake. 2 egg yolks per day, roughly 30% of daily requirement. Cod liver oil, 1 teaspoon per day. Factor 5, chronic stress. This one can outweigh all 4 preceding factors combined. It has nothing to do with food, nothing to do with the sun. It is connected to your nervous system, to what you feel every single day. In my clinical practice, I have seen patients who ate correctly, supported their liver, drank kefir every evening, followed every protocol, and their spots did not fade. New ones appeared. And only when we addressed one thing that had nothing to do with food, skin, or sunlight did the situation begin to shift. When you are anxious, worried, or upset, the brain fires an alarm signal. The adrenal glands release stress hormones into the bloodstream. Your body cannot distinguish between a real threat and an emotional one. A conflict with a neighbor, worry about your children, a sleepless night spent reading the news. The body registers all of it as the same signal: danger. And the stress hormones flow, not once, every day. Chronic stress drives skin deterioration through multiple pathways. It amplifies systemic inflammation, the same inflammation we've discussed throughout. It triggers production of compounds from the pro-opiomelanocortin family, a precursor protein from which the body manufactures hormones that directly stimulate pigment production. And it degrades the skin's barrier function, making it more vulnerable. Technique: 4-7-8 breathing. Sit comfortably or lie down. Close eyes. Place one hand on chest, other on abdomen. Inhale slowly through nose for a count of 4. Breathe with diaphragm. Hand on chest stays still, hand on abdomen rises. Hold for 7 counts. Exhale slowly through mouth for 8 counts. A long, audible exhale. Repeat 4 times. 2 minutes total. Activates vagus nerve, parasympathetic system. Heart rate slows, blood pressure drops, muscles release. Practice before bed every night. Practical protocol: brightening mask. Important warning first. One of the most common mistakes. People take a brightening remedy, apply it, and the spots darken instead of fading. The skin reacts, inflames, flakes. They conclude the remedy is worthless. The real problem is not the remedy, it is the method. For 3 full days before using any mask, stop washing your face with soap entirely. No cleansers, no gels, no scrubs. Warm water only. Over those 3 days, the barrier begins to rebuild. Only then apply the mask. 3 ingredients, all from your kitchen. Kefir, 1 tablespoon. Contains lactic acid with documented brightening properties plus live bacteria to support the skin's microbiome. Honey, half a teaspoon. A natural humectant and gentle antimicrobial. Turmeric, a pinch. The amount that fits on the tip of a knife, nothing more. Contains curcumin with anti-inflammatory properties. Too much stains skin yellow, a pinch. Full stop. Mix all 3. Apply to face, neck, chest, and hands. Leave 15 minutes. Rinse with warm water, no soap. Pat dry, do not rub. 3 times per week, evenings only, not daily, not mornings. After active ingredients, skin is temporarily more UV sensitive. Lymphatic movement, 5 minutes each morning. First, vibration. Stand feet shoulder width apart. Rise 1-2 inches onto balls of feet. Drop softly onto heels, 30 times, 30 seconds. Second, heel pulses. Sit in a chair. Rapidly raise and lower heels while toes stay on floor, 30 seconds. Third, full body stretch. Stand upright, interlace fingers, raise arms overhead, stretch upward 10 seconds. Lean right 5, left 5. Fourth, facial massage. Light fingertip tapping across face, then strokes from center outward toward ears. Forehead midline to temples, cheeks nose to ears, chin center toward earlobes. 5-6 strokes each direction. Bonus technique: temperature contrast, 1 minute. Metal teaspoon in freezer, 5 minutes. Rub palms together vigorously 30 seconds until genuine heat. Press warm palms against face 10 seconds. Blood moves in, vessels expand. Press cold spoon rounded side against each pigmented area, 3 seconds each. Work across full face and neck. Finish with warm palms 10 seconds. Temperature alternation drives blood and lymph through tissue more actively. Weekly plan. Week 1, preparation. Morning, warm lemon water. Evening, kefir before bed. Eliminate trans fats. Begin dandelion root tea before main meal. Stop soap on face, warm water only. Week 2, activate. Morning, oatmeal with grated carrot and teaspoon of butter. Green tea. Lunch, beet salad with unrefined oil. Herring or sardines. Cabbage soup. Afternoon, 1 ounce raw unsalted pumpkin seeds. Concentrated zinc source. Dinner, 2 boiled eggs or poached chicken. Sauerkraut. Kefir before bed. Morning, 5 minutes movement. Evening, 4-7-8 breathing, 4 cycles. Begin mask 3 evenings per week. Week 3, observe. Look closely at spots. Edges will begin to soften. Color will begin to fade. Add 2 tablespoons tomato paste daily. Week 4 plus, consolidation. Within 2 to 3 months of consistent adherence, measurable changes. Not just spots fading. More even overall skin tone. Improved firmness. Better sleep. Because you have not been masking a symptom. You have been supporting the entire organism from the inside. And now the most important moment. 5 factors drive pigmentation. Liver function, gut microbiome, UV exposure, vitamin D status, and chronic stress. You now have concrete tools for each, and all of them work as a system that depends on one critical foundation. A body where inflammation is controlled, circulation is healthy, and cells receive what they need. CardioShield supports that foundation 24/7. Hawthorn for the heart, delivering blood to every organ, including the liver and skin. Olive leaf for the chronic inflammation that drives melanocyte dysfunction. Green tea for antioxidant protection throughout the body. Garlic for the blood flow that makes everything else possible. More than 200 people. Dermatologists impressed. Spots fading. Skin tone more even. Miracle product. Link in first pinned comment. 180-day guarantee. Zero risk. Your skin reflects everything happening inside your body. Fix the inside and the outside follows. Take a photograph of your face today. Compare it in 2 weeks. If you have spots that change shape or have irregular borders, see a dermatologist. Take care of your skin from the inside. I'm Dr. James Carter.